What's the first thing you think of when the game Marvel Rivals comes to your mind? For me personally, it's always Spider-Man's ultimate voice line that forces me to see the afterlife after I violently die of cringe. And since I'm an alpha Bucky main who fiends to hook every Spider-Man main I encounter, I tend to get solo ulted quite often. But after the 15 millionth afterlife visit, I began to wonder, is there any other character in this game that could possibly have a worse set of vocal cords than Spider-Man? Well, that's the question we're going to be answering today. I'm going to be going over every single hero in Marvel Rivals and rank them S through F based on how likely their voices are to give me a boner. So let's set the precedent real quick and get this nasty Neanderthal out of the way.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
Peter makes me want to walk into the middle of O Block and drop the N-word. When I first heard this man's ultimate voice line back in the big 24, I genuinely wholeheartedly considered taking my own life due to how violent the explosion in my eardrums were. I'd rather listen to the guttural audio of the Twin Towers collapsing if it meant I didn't have to listen to this man speak. I'd rather get a train ran on me by 100 gorillas than listen to this man speak. If I had to choose between getting all 5 of my main limbs amputated and turn into a nugget or hear one Spider-Man voice line, I would listen to the voice line, because I can't afford to get my third leg chopped off. Because what is a man without his pecker? Someone who will never get to experience pecker punching. So I'm gonna swiftly pecker punch this munch straight into F tier. Hopefully the other heroes can bring the positivity out of me.
I don't like that look, Eric. What's going on under that helmet of yours?
If Logan were to speak whilst he was below my nutsack, my balls would explode due to how raspy that shit is and how much his vocal cords are vibrating. We're 2 characters in, and I've somehow already covered both sides of the spectrum. This is an immediate S tier. Imagine what this man's morning voice sounds like. Better yet, what his sick voice would sound like. At that point, bro probably just sounds like a fucking foghorn.
The battlefield may change, but the war never ends.
Now I could just fill Mr. Barnes with my sweet glazed nectar as I typically do in these videos, but if I'm being honest, I wish he sounded more like Wolverine. It's like how people were mad that Conquest in the show didn't sound as badass as people imagined him to. It's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, I just wish he made my ears perk up a bit more, that's all. Bucky Barnes bitch pee beer.
No matter the timeline, Hydra will always have a secret mountain base.
Storm's voice reminds me of a very wise, whimsical old woman. It's very calming. She has the voice of someone who just based off of hearing I would instantly trust with my deepest, darkest secrets. She's like your wise-ass Nana or something, dude. It sounds like she's about to give me a stern talking to. So I'll go ahead and place her right next to Bucky Barnes at B tier.
Judge, jury, executioner!
No, I'm not gonna lie, Frank's low-key built like the front of a Peterbilt semi-truck, and his voice makes your ears feel like they got hit by one too. But he isn't John Bernthal, so I'm gonna have to lower his rank a bit. Or maybe by lowering his rank, I'm just trying to make him mad. That way he'll punish me with his third gun that only lucky people get to be shot by, aka his fucking penis. But we can all agree that Bernthal deserves all the glaze, right? I mean, I just got done binge-watching the entire show last night, and I mean, dude's got the most intimidating voice in TV history. When that man screams, even John Wick's britches shiver. A dead man's stare from Frank would even get Fortnite Jonesy to quake in his boots. So I'm just gonna give this bad boy an emphatic A tier for oh my god, for arson, Jesus man. Since he's been known to do that on occasion. Squirrel Girl sounds like how I'd imagine an inbred extra chromy homie from Wisconsin to sound. This bitch yelling at full volume is a bigger threat to my eardrums than hearing Siren Head in the middle of the woods at night. I think I'd rather dip my balls in liquid cyanide and have my birthed child come out looking like John Carpenter's The Thing than ever hear this stinky furry blabber. Extraordinarily easy F tier.
You got to hook me up with one of those, bro. I could use a serious tune-up.
I don't know why, but just the way he says bro in that sentence leads me to believe that he's the type of goofy goober to use the phrase lil bro unironically. Like, come on, bro. Like, why are you talking like that? You're talking from the fucking pits of your stomach. Use your throat a little bit, bud, and then you can start using your throat in other ways. His vocal cord vibes give off attention seeker energy where he's desperately trying to fit in. Quill's that one kid in your class who you see with every group of individuals, but you can just tell that not a single person in the friend group actually wants him there. He strikes me as the type of guy to just randomly blurt out brain rot in serious situations. Like, he'll be looking down at your dead grandma in her casket at your funeral, and he'll look you dead in the eyes and say that she's chopped and expect a laugh to come out of your mouth. And he definitely bought the new Discord Skibbity Toilet bundle. And by the way, if you're in my server and you bought the Skibbity Toilet profile border, you're gonzos, buddy. Because instead of gifting me it, you decided to be a selfish little muff muncher.
You don't have to be a witch to find the magic in this world. but it does help.
Jesus Christ, Wanda, just put it in already. The pure chaos that would erupt in my undergarments after I violently shit myself when Wanda calls me a name would actually rack up a few kills on like her literal ultimate. This is the type of voice those TikTok mommy ASMR girls be making. And lucky for them, I'm actually a top spender on those creators' memberships, so Wanda's getting an A.
The number of illegal mining and fishing ships you humans have deployed is 10 times greater. I don't have time to tell them apart before I strike them down.
Wait, hold up. Did y'all hear the way he said down right there? Is this fucking Fope himself from Modern Warfare? You're going down for what you did. We gotta strike down the missile soap. He sounds like that one guy from that one movie. I know, very descriptive. That goes like, I came here, right? For a fucking shootout. He sounds sexy AF is what I'm getting at. He gets a B.
This is not a battle we can face alone.
Whoa, Psylocke, what the fuck? I mean, I guess she is biracial, being that she's been in many different bodies, both literally and figuratively probably, but that shit came out of left field. Psylocke sounds like your average B-list actress who plays a forgettable extra character that dies 5 minutes into the movie. But even though her character was straight dookie water, you still remember her, not for her voice, but rather her other physical traits. Psylocke's getting a C tier, and I just realized I never ranked Star-Lord. He's getting a D.
It's hard to solve a problem when the laws of nature and physics no longer apply.
Mother Hugger sounds like he's about to give me a goddamn quest to find an ancient relic or some shit. He speaks with mystery. I feel like every person watching this can relate when I say at least one of our friends' fathers sounds exactly like Reed. He's got that rad dad speaking cadence in his tone. Retards, I mean Richards is getting a B tier.
The moon haunts you!
Goon Knight strikes me as the guy who's very quiet, but whenever he talks, his voice demands your respect. He sounds like a Pixar villain, in a good way. Whenever he speaks, it's like there's a faint drumroll that begins to play in the background, and your screen suddenly has 2 black bars at the top and bottom. His voice reminds me of the Speed Cola jingle from COD. Your hands are slow. Your movements sluggish. I don't know, maybe one day Marvel will sell the rights of the Goon Knight to Disney, instead of keeping him at this indie company that no one knows about that goes by Marvel. That way he can get the love he truly deserves. Moon Knight gets an A tier.
Maximum pulse!
Iron Man just sounds like Iron Man. There's no other voice in the world that can make Iron Man Iron Man. This is just another classic Joshua Wiener W. I find Mr. Wiener's and Downey Jr.'s voices to be strikingly similar to each other. Also, I find it extremely comical that both Iron Mans have names that are highly memeable. Just imagine Iron Man with a different voice. It wouldn't be right. Jarvis, put this fucker in S tier.
Good job, Darkborn.
Be honest with yourself. If she said good boy instead of Darkborn, your room would suddenly reek of ammonia. She's got the flare in her larynx that causes my fella to flare up. It's like when you're talking to a good boy, aka a dog. You gotta make sure to come off friendly, although it does kind of sound sexual. Expanding that thought, do you think dogs like being called good boys in a sexual manner, the same way sex-deprived men do? Is that why whenever I call my friend's dog a good boy, he uses that as an opportunity to violently assault my leg's innocence? Is Magik a dog since she has a tail? I hope so. She gets an S tier.
You're a beautiful soul, Mantis. Could really use some healing.
Bro sounds like your average cringy ass anime protagonist who instead of speaking like a normal fucking human being, he tries his absolute hardest to almost talk with a whimper. He's trying to sound sexual way too hard. Then again, whenever he does speak normally, he actually has a pretty soothing set of throat throbbers. His voice reminds me of metal artists in a way. Like I'll hate 90% of a song, then out of absolutely nowhere, they'll start harmonizing the most beautiful, angelic melody in music history, just to go right back to destroying their throat and my eardrums. Iron Fist is getting a C tier. Calm the fuck down, bro. It's not that serious. Bro's trying so hard to sound intimidating, when in reality he just looks like the crunchy Cheeto that fell under my bed 5 years ago and mutated to develop flight, and now he's floating around my room sounding like a mosquito with a megaphone. I don't actually know what he sounds like outside of his ultimate quip, because I have never once heard a voice line come out of this man's chops. So to give him the benefit of the duh, I'm gonna toss him in duh tier.
Wakandan gods are truly magnificent, and yet they cannot compare to me.
I feel like if I were to run into a witch in a swamp, this is what she would sound like. She kinda sounds like that one girl with the butt plugs on top of her head in Has Been Hotel who murked the angel, which makes sense because both her and Hela share similar vibes. Overall, I think B tier is the perfect place for Hela to reside here. The sheer fear that queers adhere when getting a peer at Hela is sincere.
Usually you have to lead a target.
Not with this arrow.
Hawkeye sounds like a fucking goober. He sounds like Patrick's from SpongeBob's even more retarded cousin. He's got the voice of a man who fell 1,000 feet off the Burj Khalifa, landed head first and survived because of his thick ass skull that takes up 80% of his headspace. The way Hawkeye sounds leads me to believe that his cranium is built like a Tootsie Pop. His entire head is just bone that's protecting an inch-large brain. This is the type of guy who would try to use a power line as a noose. In case you couldn't tell, I think Hawkeye sounds very stupid, so I'm giving him an F tier.
Hit him harder. We're almost out of time.
It's like Nettie spent the entire budget on Black Widow's physical assets and then just rushed her voiceovers like they're gemming in Clash of Clans. She just sounds generic. This is just one of the 7 billion other reasons why Widowmaker is better than Black Widow. The only thing Black Widow has on Widowmaker is that she doesn't one-shot and her players actually have a little bit of brain power. She's getting a D tier.
I fight for it every day. One cannot keep an empire when there is chaos at home.
No, I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like he is forcing his accent, but it still sounds badass. This is the type of dude I'd like to read me bedtime stories after a long day at work. Kinda like Mr. Nightmare. Like I'm just imagining being all snuggled up in my heating blanket with my life-size multi-$1,000 AI girlfriend sex doll and listening to relaxing Wakanda war stories read by none other than the Wakanda himself. What a delightful time. A tier.
My brother Loki imperils not just Asgard, but all the realms.
I was expecting Thor to sound like the nastiest, most obese, fat fucking tub of lard imaginable, but he actually has quite the soothing silkiness in his voice. The only quirk I have to say about him is that it sounds like he's speaking from the back of his throat at times. Like the way the air is escaping his mouth sounds wrong. It's like when you go to rip ass and only half of your asshole opens. So I'm gonna cut his score in half and give him an A tier. I've always thought it sounded like Venom's throat is just caked in moisture 24/7. It sounds like he's a famous gay porn star who's gurgling on 50 loads at once. You could probably quench Africa's entire population of its thirst with just the saliva in Venom's mouth alone. When Venom spits a loogie, it actually creates an entire tsunami that's magnetically attracted to Japan, and that's why Japan gets smashed with tsunamis on what seems to be a daily basis. I'm gonna give Vencom a B tier.
I called this a winning streak. We're being targeted by a sniper.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I'm on a call. You know how we all, and yes, I mean we, used to punch babies whenever they cried too much? Well, whenever I hear a Peni Parker voice line, it makes me want to recreate August 9th, 1945. Nobody talks like this. If you speak like this, then you're compensating for something, and you probably, hopefully, live a miserable life. I can't express to you how angry I get every time I hear any voice line from this funny looking woman. I would actually rather have someone poke a stick in my ears and through my brain, and use it as a shish kebab than have to deal with listening to Penny. Maybe Helen Keller didn't have it so bad. Penny gets an F tier.
That's how we do it on Yancey Street.
Grim sounds like he's trying to sell me a fucking pizza in the heart of the Big Apple. To be honest, Ben's got one of my favorite voices in the game. The accent is just splendiferous. I'm just imagining kicking back and cracking open a couple cocks, simply talking about life with the guy. Maybe even comparing rocks. Any quote this man says will be instantly remembered for the rest of eternity. Thingathy's getting an S tier. I don't care.
A victory for all nerds!
Bruce sounds like he pulls out an ass booger, aka a literal piece of shit, and gnaws on it. Did you know it's a proven fact that Apple designed the nerd emoji off of Bruce Banner from the hit game Marvel Rivals? Now you may be dismissing that claim since Apple came out way before Marvel Rivals, but the truth is Apple actually broke time to fast travel into the future, and that way they could get a good look and listen in on Bruce's pussy ass speaking. Speaking of speaking, I was speaking to Tim Cook the other night at dinner, and he let me in on a little secret from when he traveled to the future. He said that anybody who watches this video and doesn't subscribe is 100% going to die alone and will never find love in their entire life. So you know, I suggest you make love to that subscribe button real quick, that way you don't have to worry anymore. Bruce is getting an F tier because he's a failure in every aspect and should be deeply ashamed of himself.
I don't care. No mutant shall ever end up in your domain again.
His voice is alright, but does anyone else relate to the fact that they would love it if Magneto tossed his balls in your face like he does with his ultimate? Anyways, he kinda sounds like a magical librarian. I'm gonna give him a B tier.
I've stepped on something dreadful. And this time I don't mean our foes.
Yeah, you stepped into the line of sight of Bubba. But don't worry, because that's the reaction we all have the first time our eyes meet Lord Bubba. In all seriousness, NetEase saw their player count depleting with each passing week and decided to unleash the Gooner goddess to bring back all the Goonligans. She's got the voice of an Overwatch Mercy one-trick who sits in custom lobbies all day and rizzes up the sad e-boys who plague that mode. What was even the point of her moaning in the beginning of her voice line? Just to give me a boner? I'm already hard as a rock after loading into the game and being greeted with the the shop's featured skins. If I get any harder, my piece is just gonna explode, and then you won't have a returning customer anymore. So I guess I'll give Emma Frost an S tier by default, even though she's trying a bit too hard.
I'm Groot.
It'd be better if he was voiced by the man who really cares about his family. C tier.
As long as folks are living on their knees, I'll keep standing up.
What the fuck does he mean by this? Is he insinuating that by being a whore and living on your knees, he'll keep fighting for you? Does this mean that Cap is pro-prostitution? What if I got on my knees for him? What if I'm a nugget and don't have any knees? Will he just chop me in half with his shield because I physically can't take a knee for him? Is Captain America secretly Homelander? Is that why whenever NetEase gives me AI for my teammates, the composition always consists of an Emma Frost and a Captain America? Because Emma feeds her milkies to him? Am I retarded? Is Cap getting an S tier? The answer is yes to the second to last question, and the answer is no to the previous one. Cap is getting an A tier.
I am Sorcerer Supreme.
Imagine if Doctor Strange had the voice of Kratos. You know how intimidating that shit'd be? His Eye of Agamotto would make my ass cheeks clench with so much force that they'd rip my spinal cord straight out of my body due to the sheer velocity at which they started to clench. Instead of only one possible outcome in defeating Thanos, there would be infinite outcomes due to how petrified Thanos would be after hearing Strange's threats in a Kratos voice. But instead, we're left with this mediocre sounding man who causes my dick to go limp every time he utters a sentence. Strange is a flaccid D tier.
Do not fret. My victory was inevitable.
This guy sounds like the personification of the falling metal pipe sound effect. He reminds me of that inspirational moment when Megatron got slightly nervous when speaking to that girl in Universal Studios, so he just started fucking moaning as loud as humanly possible. Or I guess robotically possible.
Good morning.
Oh, you're not working this week?
I
He's getting an A tier for that beautiful performance.
This territory must be ours.
Now I gotta be careful here, because all it takes is one tiny little poke from this insect to cause me never-ending immeasurable pain. She sounds as if she's a fully grown woman trying her best to sound younger than she is. She's got that same annoying tone to her voice that almost makes her sound like a kawaii anime girl. I want to use her antenna as a dildo. Mantis gets a D tier for dildo.
Let's go and blow up some dummies.
I can see Rocket being a bit of a hit or miss. He sounds straight out of Philly. Every time I hear him speak, I suddenly crave a foot-long glizzy loaded with ketchup and relish being shoved down my throat at the velocity of the Japanese bullet train. And that's strange, no doctor, because I don't even like relish. In fact, relish is probably the shittiest topping anyone could ever get on any food in history. Maybe besides the Tom Pearl special. So I'm gonna give this dummy a sensual C tier with a side of cilantro.
These Wakandans should consider praying to a different god. I happen to be free.
It's like Thor stole all of the family's testosterone, leaving Loki with this sassy-ass, slightly suspicious-sounding set of vocal frequencies. Every sentence he speaks sounds like he's trying to seduce me or some shit. Loki's calendar consists of the month June and June only. I can't tell if he wants to suck my head when he talks to me or decapitate my head, so I'm gonna slide him a solid C tier.
I am ready to put on a show.
Her voice is like butter, a smooth, soothing, sensual semen-secreting ordinance, of which causes a robust, resentment-vanishing range of vocal display that can only be described as angelic to listen to. It's been said that those who have been lucky enough to experience Mrs. Snow in an active performance have become the greatest version of themselves. Luna has the perfect female tone to her voice. Maybe if my classmates sounded like her, English class wouldn't be literal human torture whenever the professor called on another classmate to read a section of a book. I swear to God, that's like top 5 most boring things in history, is fucking listening to one of your classmates read. The only tier that Luna could ever possibly fall under is none other than S tier.
I could be in and out of here with no one ever noticing.
This statement has been fact-checked by real Slovakian patriots. I feel like this is the first character so far that sounds exactly how I'd expect them to, and that's not meant to be a bad thing either. Sue sounds exactly how I'd imagine any blonde man to sound if they suddenly turned into a girl. I'm gonna give this basic blonde a very basic ranking, being C tier. Jeff speaks at the intelligence level of every single one of my ranked teammates. In order to actually understand what he's saying here, you need to obtain all 3 of the following traits. Have an IQ below 80, be an extra chromey homie, or main Squirrel Girl. If you've successfully completed one or more of these tasks, then you are very likely to understand whatever lobotomite language this creature is blabbering over his blubber, and you probably think he's an S tier, but I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. You see, I only completed 2 out of the 3 tasks, being that I don't main Squirter Girl, so I'm gonna give this cutie an A tier instead.
It's always been me and Tandy against the world.
Dude could get the highest paying job in NASA history, cause his voice is beyond nasally. That was absolutely retarded, but it was genius. But no, I actually really like this cutie patooty's voice. This is the first time I have something nice to say about Cock. Just imagine how much cooler he'd be if he wasn't Joe Swanson, and if he actually had legs. B tier.
Against the world!
Chode is way better than Donger, it's not even close. The best way to describe what I'm feeling is, I just wouldn't trust her. She sounds untrustworthy. Then again, most women nowadays are untrustworthy anyways, so all girls are the same. This is why you fuck dudes instead. Donger gets a D tier.
Born again!
He kinda sounds like that television looking fucker from Hazbin Hotel. Wow, that is 2 Cringeman Hotel references in one video. I think it's about time for me to become a popular grunge lead vocalist. I take Adam as a relatively laid back dude, but whenever he speaks, he's always pushing some aggression out of his throat. That might have been the gayest way I could try and explain that, but you get the point. Speaking of point, make sure you dislocate your pointer finger and hold that like button at gunpoint, because now that I've given Adam Horcock a C tier, that marks the end of this bodacious voice beer best. We're very close to 1 billion subscribers, so be sure to that subscribe button. But yeah, I love you schnookies, and I'll see y'all later.